Alright, so we have been learning about similar figures. Another way to say similar figures is similar shape. Now, as you can see, these shapes are the same, but notice the sizes are different. As a reminder, there are 3 things that we need to remember to know that 2 shapes are similar. 2 shapes are similar if angles are congruent. Congruent means to be equal or to be the same. So angles need to be the same measurement in your similar figures. Sides are proportional. Remember, that's where we set up our proportional lines to see if the sides correspond or match with each other. As you can see, 8 corresponds with 4. 10 corresponds with 5. These sides are proportional. Finally, 2 shapes are similar if they are the same shape but not necessarily the same size. Same shape but different sizes. So let's take a look at number 1. We have similar figures here. In order to find the missing side, I will set up my proportions. I see that green corresponds with green. So I'm going to write it out. 12 corresponds with 3. That means yellow corresponds with the other yellow. So 20 corresponds with X. So there's 2 ways to figure it out. I can either figure it out, what is that missing number between 12 and 20, or the missing number between 12 and 3. I see that if I multiply 4 to 3, that gives me 12. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. So some number multiplied by 4 has to equal 20. I know that 5 multiplied 4 equals 20. Therefore, X equals 5. Here's another problem. We have 6 corresponds with 24. So notice you could set it up in 2 ways. You could put it across from each other, like we did here in number 1, or you could put it on top of each other, like we did here in number 6. So there's 2 different ways to put that information together. So if 6 corresponds with 24, that means 9 corresponds with X. I'm going to see, do I have a clean number going up and down on my fraction or left to right? I see that if I multiply 4 to 6, that will give me 24. So whatever I do here, I'm doing the same thing over here to 9. 9 times 4 is 36. So X equals 36. Finally, let's look at a word problem. A model house. Remember, this is the toy house, right? A model house is 12 centimeters wide. If it is built with a scale, so here's our information, our scale or our key, of 3 centimeters to 4 meters, then how wide is the real house? So now we want to know the real house. How big would the real house be if I was using the toy model? So same thing. Let's use our proportions. I know that 3 centimeters equals 4 meters. it's important for me to keep my measurements of unit the same. So down here, I'm going to find centimeters, and here, I'm going to find meters. Well, I know that my toy or my model house is 12 centimeters, so they want to know what is the size for the real house. So there are two ways that I can look at this. Remember, I can see, can 3 go into 4 evenly, or can 3 go into 12? I know that if I multiply 3 times 4, that gives me 12. So, same thing. If I do that here, I must do the same thing over here. 4 multiply 4, x equals 16 meters.